This backdrop is where Lyft began 25 years ago, New York County Family Court. We were three young lawyers, fresh out of law school. We had all done family court clinics, and we had a real passion and drive to work with the family court community. We saw that there was a great need for services that Lyft provides today, answering questions, providing information to litigants here in the family courthouse. Those litigants mostly are there by themselves, they don't have lawyers, and they're there to solve family crises, the most personal, meaningful issues that families face. Child custody, child support, child visitation, foster care, all of those types of crises and types of issues are the things that litigants are here for, and yet they're wandering around, not really sure where to go, not understanding the legal jargon, and not understanding what's in papers. And so we set up shop here. We unfolded a folding table and sat behind it and answered questions. And as we sat there, people just started to come. There was hundreds of people just in those first few weeks, and that was the beginning of Lyft. And over time, we expanded to different boroughs. We got to Bronx Family Court, Brooklyn Family Court, and eventually we were citywide, and today we're beyond even New York City. But this is where it all began. And I could not be more proud than to be here tonight to say happy 25th anniversary to Lyft. It's been a really challenging year, and the Lyft team has come through time and time again. Congratulations and happy anniversary.
Welcome. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Who could have imagined a year ago the depth of the devastation and loss we would experience? And yet, how inspiring it has been to see our community, our big, bold, take action New York community, step up, be creative, problem solve, and care so very much. So Lyft is 25 years old this year. What does 25 mean? It means a transition to real adulthood. Not that we weren't adults before, but now we're really coming of age. We know who we are, we know what we do, and we really know our clients. So 25 years ago, Lyft's founders saw that there was a great need in family court because so many people were coming without an attorney. We stand here on the shoulders of those visionaries and founders who saw injustice and who imagined what could be. You'll meet some of them tonight. And all these years later, still small but mighty, Lyft continues to innovate in response to real-time needs and opportunities, and hence the wonderful reason for our celebration tonight. This is an evening about storytelling, a shared narrative of Lyft's impact from clients, staff, board, supporters, volunteers, and community partners. So, from across New York, we bring you the voices and experiences that have helped shape Lyft's 25 years of working towards equal access to justice.
We're thinking a lot about justice these days, what it means, how to get there. In an average year, there are 650,000 filings in New York State Family Court. 8 in 10 litigants have no lawyer. Justice can feel out of reach. Lyft is here to help. Equal access to justice is at the heart of our mission.
I was scared to represent myself. With Lyft's attorney, I felt confident and prepared.
When COVID hit, I was afraid to let my daughter leave our apartment. Lyft helped me advocate for a safe visitation agreement with her father.
I'm a domestic violence survivor. My kid's safety is everything. With Lyft support, I got an emergency custody hearing.
When I came home from prison, Lyft helped me reconnect with my kids. I now know my rights and see them every week.
I was worried about supporting my new baby alone. Lyft helped me establish paternity, enabling me to receive child support.
Each year, 25,000 people turn to Lyft for justice, for access, for family.
Miriam is one of the most amazing mothers and clients that I have ever worked with. Miriam started her case terrified to go into court and terrified of the entire legal system and process. You will never know that when you see her next. Miriam was able to advocate for herself by using the tools that Lyft was able to provide her. We were able to prepare her for court and outside of court as well. Miriam took every webinar, she read every legal resource guide that we offered, and is an amazing advocate for herself and for her daughter. It is my pleasure to introduce Miriam.
I was 3 months pregnant when I found out that my child's father, Julio, was cheating on me and told me that he was gonna leave. My mother died 5 years ago. I was having my first baby. I was alone, I was scared, I felt betrayed. Penelope was 11 months old when Julio reappeared. He was banging on my door, crazy like a madman. He told me that he was gonna file for full custody. And I was confused, I was scared. I called different organizations, one of them being Legal Aid Society. They connected me with Lyft. I spoke to someone in the helpline and they told me that a lawyer would get back to me. That's when I spoke to my wonderful, amazing Lyft lawyer, Molly. Molly said, Miriam, I got your back, we got this. I had no experience with family court. It was nerve-wracking. I'm a single mother. I'm Penelope's mom until I leave this earth. Everything that I do is to protect Penelope. Julio is the father. He has a responsibility to take care of Penelope. Molly gave me information, helped me prepare for my case every step of the way, making me understand the petition, the vocabulary. She gave me support and courage. From Lyft, I learned my rights as Penelope's custodial parent. Going into the hearing, I was very nervous, but I was ready. I felt like my mom was watching over me. She was definitely a spiritual guide, leading me to Lyft. I have another court hearing in July. Although I'm nervous to see Julio and it's virtually due to the pandemic, I feel confident. This has been very hard for me to share, but I want other single parents to know that they are not alone. I'm very grateful for Lyft. This has been a magical feeling. I have a lawyer. I'm confident I can represent myself, and I'm getting justice for Penelope.
So Liberty, we met at Legal Services and at the Family Law Task Force, and you two were in law school together, and we saw all the people looking at and working on the issues of family law. But as we all were new to family court, we also saw that there were a lot of gaps.
Yeah, I think we all really came together around this shared perception that while there were different entities addressing different pieces of the family law puzzle, no one was really looking at the experience of the user and the litigants and how they were experiencing family court without any support or information, and how terrifying that was for the people trying to access justice.
And I think we saw that too as young lawyers in family court. It was a very complicated, complex place to get around, and we too weren't even sure exactly what we were doing. So we could see ourselves, or we could see the litigants through our own eyes. But I think we were also really motivated by a sense of social justice and equity, and I think we just together couldn't really believe that there was so little there to help litigants, and so we really felt a real mission to kind of come in and guide folks literally and with information.
Right. And I know I came in with that child protective focus, and I was all about thinking about that and ACS and the courts. And I think through my fellowship, it really expanded my eyes to see the level of the lack of access that so many other areas of the practice had that really have become a real big focus of LIFT. But it was amazing. I just didn't know how people were actually functioning and trying to get things done or have a court even hear them without the supports that we know are so necessary.
Right, you and I both, our fellowships focused on child protection, and then all these other people would ask us questions, and we had nowhere to point them to, and there were no resources for them. And also at that time, there was just a lot of discussion in the media and really negative portrayals of young people in juvenile justice cases. There had been some deaths of young children, and the environment was incredibly painful, stressful. There was a lot of racially charged rhetoric being used that was incredibly negative, and I think all of us experienced that and felt the need to shift the conversation.
Yep, and I mean, so much of the need still exists, but the conversation has really shifted. Now, there's much more talk about parent representation, about the voice of parents, even the voice of youth, in terms of creating policy and practice. And so I think LIFT was a big part of that.
Right. So we started out at the little table at family court, and now we have a seat at the table. We're with judges, clerks, and other stakeholders, really trying to help people get the access that is so needed for their families.
Absolutely.
There are many reasons why LIFT is important, but the key point here is that LIFT staff take the time and the patience to work directly with the pro se litigants to help that individual develop their own story and build the confidence and courage to be able to share that with the judge. And in the end, that's what the judge wants to hear. They don't want to hear someone else's story. They want to hear directly from the pro se litigant. And that's why LIFT is important.
I'm Rob DeLeon. I'm with the Fortune Society, where we believe in building people, not prisons. And every day we serve men and women being released from facilities and who are facing incarceration. On behalf of Fortune and myself, I want to thank LIFT for helping the men and women we serve with navigating issues in the family court like child support arrears, visitation, and guardianship. I personally know what it means to hope to be reunited with your children after being released from prison and to ultimately have a positive impact on their lives. Congratulations on your 25th anniversary. We look forward to many more.
I knew when I started at LIFT that this is the work that I wanted to be doing. Not only because there is such an immense need for this, but also because I feel empowered when I empower other people. And providing New Yorkers with the tools and the information to best represent themselves is such a privilege. I'm so grateful to LIFT for providing these opportunities, not only to me, but also the people that we serve.
The pandemic became real for me on Friday, March 13th. I was alone in a subway car, wearing a mask and surgical gloves. There was no line at Starbucks in downtown Brooklyn. And when I got to the office, someone mentioned the word Zoom. A year later, what I'm so moved by is how well-positioned Lyft actually was to support our clients during this time. We already had a strong foundation. We knew what our clients needed. We leveraged our relationships with our community partners, and we worked in very close collaboration with the courts as the crisis escalated. We had done the work so we could quickly pivot to all remote services. And over the year, we became increasingly creative, especially with technology, picking up and stepping in to help offset the limited court capacity. The commitment of our staff during this time was extraordinary. I am so proud of them. Everything we did was about reducing barriers in order to increase access.
I've been really inspired this past year by how well our team has stepped up to support our clients during the pandemic. We are all juggling a lot, working from home, but I think we've recognized how difficult this past year has been in particular for our clients and what's at stake for them. But nobody gave us a roadmap on how to navigate the family courts. We're figuring it out as we go, and I've never seen our team work harder for our clients and helping them access the justice that they deserve. It's been really inspiring. So thank you, Lyft. Happy 25th anniversary, and cheers to many more years.
During the last year, I've been very honored to be on Lyft's board, and even more honored to serve as the chair. Particularly this year, it's brought this sense of purpose and meaning and connection to a community during a year where connection was very difficult to find. And isolation was all too easy. So thank you for bringing that meaning to me.
I work as a PPE team member for Lyft, and we gave out helpline cards and resource guides to litigants who came to court looking for answers. Due to my position at Lyft as a PPE member, it has made me realize how much I want to be of help to litigants and to other people around me. Being able to support them and being able to give them assistance made me realize that I want to pursue a career in law and have a bigger outreach and make a bigger impact to the world.
Senator Cory Booker has dedicated his life to fighting for those who've been left out, left behind, or left without a voice. Senator Booker grew up in New Jersey. He received his undergraduate degree from Stanford, received a Rhodes Scholarship, studied at Oxford University, returned to America to study at Yale Law School, graduating in 1997. As a Yale Law School grad, he left New Haven for Newark, New Jersey, and became a community organizer, founding a not-for-profit. He moved into Newark's Bricktown Housing Project in 1998, where he lived until it was demolished in 2006. And to this day, Senator Booker lives in Newark's Central Ward, where the median income is less than $15,000 a year. After his election to the Newark City Council, he was elected mayor of Newark, and then elected New Jersey's junior U.S. Senator in 2013 in a special election, then re-elected in 2014, and again in 2020. Among the legislative accomplishments for which he is most proud is his bipartisan work spearheading reforms of our nation's broken criminal justice system of mass incarceration. Working with Senator Mike Lee of Utah, while Republicans control the Senate and the White House, work Senator Booker continues to champion, including legislation that reduces mandatory minimum sentences for nonviolent drug offenses. Senator Booker is also working on bipartisan, bicameral efforts to shape national police reform, with the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina. When it comes to fighting for racial justice, equal justice, or fighting for families so they all have a chance at the American dream, Senator Booker has distinguished himself in the United States Senate. I am honored to welcome him as our featured speaker this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Cory Booker.
For 25 years, this organization has provided access to support for children, families, and those in need through your dedicated legal services. From community education to advocating for reform to protecting the vulnerable, you have helped to promote the highest ideals of our nation: justice, equity, and compassion for our neighbors, colleagues, and friends. I know from my time as mayor of New Jersey's largest city that for many, navigating a major court system can be daunting, to say the least. It can be intimidating. At times it could be downright scary. But just because someone may not know the system doesn't mean they should be victimized by it. You all are helping to guide victims and immigrants, underserved families, and so many others find access to justice, to know their legal rights, and to accomplish what those systems should be designed for, which is to elevate the best of who we are and our values and human well-being. You have helped recently incarcerated individuals navigate their safe reentry and assist with overcoming challenges like finding employment or finding a place to live, or even just being able to connect by overcoming a language barrier. You assist those who have chosen to serve this community in uniform as our nation's veterans who are returning to civilian life and encounter challenges with supporting their families or navigating the legal system. Scripture tells us that He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all ways. Well, listen, for 25 years, you all have guarded countless in need. As your mantra says, justice for all, one family at a time. You all are that. You all do that. And all of us should join together in celebrating your grace and your greatness. Thank you for what you do.
When I first met Mario, he was grieving the death of his sister. Similar to so many people in the United States and worldwide, his sister had passed away due to COVID-19, leaving behind her only son, Justin. Mario had helped raise Justin since birth and considered Justin his son, as Justin considered him his father. Now Mario, an undocumented immigrant, was very nervous about Justin's future. He feared that the police may come to the door and take Justin away since he had no legal rights to his son. Together with Lyft's help, we were able to file for custody and were able to get him a final order of sole custody, granting him legal rights to his son. I'd like to now share the story of Justin's loving father, Mario.
De un día jueves que me encontré por última vez con mi hermana, se fue a trabajar en el hospital porque ella era una enfermera que trabajaba en el hospital. Y en la tarde me llamó que le faltaba el aire y se iba a quedar en el hospital a recibir un poquito el aire. Pero a medida que las horas pasaron, nunca más, pude recibir una buena noticia. En el lapso de 8 días, mi hermana falleció. Mi mundo se me vino al suelo. En ese momento, no había pensado en los problemas que vendría con la ley de Justin, que es su hijo. Afortunadamente, yo he sido la figura paterna desde que mi niño, Justin Rodríguez, que hoy en día es como mi hijo desde que nació. Pero cuando falleció mi hermana, las cosas cambiaron porque no tenía un documento para hacer todos los trámites correspondientes que pide la ley. Me senté a llorar. No, no sabía para dónde, a quién pedir ayuda. Estaba todo colapsado. Organizaciones como estas, en nuestras vidas, especialmente en la comunidad hispana, comunidades inmigrantes como nosotros, comunidades que no tenemos documentos o tenemos o estamos no estamos orientados muy bien con la ley estadounidense, o muchas veces estamos en las sombras, son una ayuda muy importante, porque sin estas organizaciones, personas como yo estaríamos todavía en el abismo. Porque yo estoy muy agradecido con Lyft, porque fue como una luz al final del túnel. Y si yo tuviera la oportunidad de devolver todo esto, este favor, en colaboración a esta organización, me uniría también, porque tal vez hoy me tocó a mí, posiblemente mañana otra persona estará necesitando de estas ayudas que son sumamente importantes para nosotros, para nuestra comunidad.
Thank you, Mario, for sharing your story. We wish you and Justin stability, health, and love in the coming years ahead. More than anything we could say, Mario's story is why Lyft does the work and why we are all here tonight. Now is the time that we ask for your help to ensure that Lyft continues to support the tens of thousands of people like Mario and Miriam who turn to us each year. To donate, simply text Lyft 25 to 44321. You'll then receive a response with a link. Click the link and you'll be directed to the site where you can make your gift. It is that simple. And now I'd like to introduce an extraordinary member of our board, Corey Chambliss. It's so great you're here. Corey Chambliss is one of our wonderful board members. And Corey, since you're here, do you mind sharing with the group why Lyft, why you're involved with the board, why it speaks to you?
Absolutely, happy to. So growing up in upstate New York, my mother actually worked for Child Protective Services. And so I saw and heard every day just how critical a role that the family courts can play in helping families navigate difficult challenges and helping parents understand their parental legal rights and even knowing what to expect before showing up to a court appointment. And that's really why we're here tonight and why we're asking for your support. And it's important that we communicate the direct impact of that support. $5,000 supports a month of our helpline calls, which really were inundated over the last year. As you can imagine, they received double the amount of calls that they would usually get. And $2,500 supports our digital platform, Family Legal Connection, which connects pro bono attorneys with Lyft clients directly. So, I mean, I hope that was helpful. And
Corey, look at the energy in the chat. I can't believe
Whoa,
how people
yeah.
respond to you.
Wow.
Thank you, thank you,
thank you very much. Thank you.
For $1,000, you can support a Know Your Rights workshop, which enables us to target specific communities with unique legal needs, such as veterans, people who've experienced incarceration, immigrants, and domestic violence survivors. For $500, you can support the creation of a new legal resource guide. This year, unbelievably, over 100,000 people accessed this resource. And for $250, you can support 1 day of helpline calls. So you see, any amount can make a real difference.
Wow, so any donation really does help. And,
absolutely.
You know, I think the link that Kathy mentioned earlier, that's going to be up for the rest of the night at least,
Oh,
right?
at least tonight, tomorrow, hopefully next week.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, I mean, really, this is just an amazing community to be a part of, and we're seeing it in the chat.
Yeah,
And
I
really,
think one thing to think about is maybe a time in your life when someone has lifted you up.
Yep.
A little bit of encouragement goes such a long way.
Right.
I think we see that almost every day as we're working with our clients.
Right, and just how much that outstretched hand really means during challenging times. So,
Yeah.
so really, I couldn't be prouder to be a member of the board of directors of LIFT, and with that, it's my privilege to introduce two fellow board members, our Gala chair tonight, Susan Warren, and Rob Schiffer. So, thank you.
Thank you, Corey.
Wow, what incredible results.
Such generosity.
Indeed. My heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you for supporting and celebrating LIFT. A special thanks to our clients for sharing their moving stories with us. And a call out to our dedicated staff for making our mission a reality and tonight making our story come alive. To the tremendous generosity of our 25th Anniversary Committee and to our Gala Committee for the success we have achieved. As your Gala Chair, this evening is especially meaningful to me and to Debbie and Ken, as uplifting the lives of underserved children and families is of utmost importance to us, and I know to all of you. And now, our dynamic Vice Chair of the Board and Co-Chair of our Development Committee, Rob Schiffer.
Thank you, Susan, for all of your hard work to make tonight such a success. I was introduced to LIFT and Family Court through the Judge for a Day program. Sitting in Family Court in 2016, I listened to case after case of pro se litigants begging for help. The fear and anxiety in the room was palpable, and one can only imagine how the pandemic has exacerbated their hardship. Their need has never been more acute. On behalf of the Development Committee, please join us, follow us, volunteer with us, and if you can, continue to financially support our cause. Thank you.
New York has a serious justice gap, made worse by the digital divide. 8 in 10 family court litigants have no lawyer. Many have no computer or reliable internet. They can't navigate the court website or submit legal documents. Court procedures are confusing. And as safety net resources and court proceedings have gone digital, many families get left behind. LIFT uses technology to help close this justice gap. Our Family Legal Connection platform provides virtual consultations with pro bono and LIFT staff attorneys. Litigants can be on any web-connected device. Lawyers can consult from home or the office. Our helpline connects callers with legal information by phone, email, and live chat. Bilingual webinars and court updates keep litigants informed. Our new app delivers guided, curated resources so litigants get relevant, useful information fast. And we are piloting software that enables mobile access and uploads of essential court documents. In an era of unknowns, one thing is for certain. LIFT is always listening and innovating, so all New York families have equal access to justice.
Tonight is about looking back, looking at where we are today, and looking toward the future. Anniversaries have a way of doing that. Over 10 years ago, tonight's honoree, Bill Silverman, had an idea. He understood the power of bringing pro bono attorneys into the courts to see the challenging experience of pro se litigants. He believed that if the lawyers saw what was happening, they would want to get involved. And being Bill, he created a program to do just this. It's called the Volunteer Attorney Program. And from that successful experience, Bill helped LIFT develop our own pro bono program, our Family Legal Connection, which you learned about earlier in the evening, which leverages the partnership between pro bono and technology to reduce barriers. LIFT is really at the forefront of technology in the family law arena, and we're just getting started. So it is with great pleasure that I introduce my friend and colleague, LIFT's former board chair, a visionary for family court, the pro bono partner at Proskauer, and a passionate social justice advocate, Bill Silverman.
Thank you, Kathy, for that introduction and for all that you do for LIFT. I want to thank the board for this honor. I want to thank Proskauer for their generous support of LIFT and for the privilege of running their pro bono program, which is something I appreciate every day. I want to thank all my friends and family, especially my wife, Karen, my son, John, my daughter, Sarah. And I also want to thank all of you. Thank you for supporting LIFT, and thank you for watching this tonight. My first court appearance in family court was as a summer associate in 1991. I don't remember what I had for lunch today, but I remember every detail of that court appearance. And so began my 30-year fascination with family court. The family court doesn't have enough judges, it doesn't have enough resources, it doesn't have enough staff. It has limited jurisdiction. You can't get a divorce in family court. It doesn't have enough technology. All of this, and 80% of the litigants in family court are unrepresented. I could go on, but my point is that there are deep systemic problems with family court. And why is this so? We have an antiquated court system that arises out of our New York State Constitution that establishes 11 separate and distinct trial courts. Over the years, this has evolved into two court systems. The first system serves people who are largely represented by counsel. The second system is comprised of courts like the family court that serve unrepresented litigants. So why do we tolerate two systems of justice? It hurts the poor, it disproportionately affects people of color, and it undermines the safety and security of families and children. So what can we do? We need to support the Chief Judge's proposed constitutional amendment to restructure the court system. I think it's great that she's making this a priority, but she is not going to be successful unless we get behind this effort. If you're interested, shoot me an email and I'll get you involved. And second, and maybe not surprisingly, we need to support LIFT. In all of my years on the board at LIFT, we have never turned away a single person asking for help in family court. I support LIFT because we help thousands of people every year. And I also help LIFT because of the potential to get us a little bit closer to those ideals that define us, or that should define us as a nation. So thank you so much for this honor, and please be well.
The reasons for Clark investing in LIFT is the mission of our foundation is to help people out of poverty and help them lead independent, productive lives. We look at that through the prisms of education, human services, and employment in the city of New York. And obviously, as you think about that, family court is a big dynamic within that question, and LIFT is trying to help people who are trying to get through the family court and their proceedings. So it just made a lot of sense for us to invest in them.
The Veteran Advocacy Project loves LIFT.
We collaborated together and created an educational video for veterans, and we're just glad that LIFT exists, particularly when people get out of the military. There's so many questions, there's so many income changes. Do disability benefits get split or not? We see a lot of out-of-state child support orders. So knowing that we can refer veterans over to someone with confidence is what makes LIFT invaluable to us and a really terrific partner.
Last month, we hit a record. We had over 2,000 callers last month. We went from a 3-woman team to now a 5-woman team. And there's still a great need. The helpline is always busy. I have maybe like 2 seconds of downtime before I get another call.
The specific appeal of LIFT and why I do, dedicate my time to LIFT is because of I see the real need to help individuals in a very real way with matters that impact their daily lives. With the Family Legal Connection website, where I can just log in, get the information that I need, get all the uploaded documents from the parties, and review it, and then connect with the clients. It's really very convenient.
Happy 25th anniversary, LIFT. And if I could say thank you, I can find another word to say thank you, I will do so, but I don't know what that is. Gracias a LIFT, felicidades por su 25 aniversario y gracias por todo lo que ha hecho por mí. Y si quiero decir algo, quiero decir gracias, lo digo con LIFT.
Thank you. 2 very powerful words. And now I'd like to add my thank yous. First of all, to my fellow board members, thank you for all of your engagement this year, for stepping up, your energy, your enthusiasm, your ideas. We would not be here today but for you guys. Thank you. Secondly, to our very generous sponsors and committee members, all of you who have given so generously for this gala to be a success, thank you. To our wonderful speakers, Senator Booker, wow, how amazing was that? Thank you for giving us your time and also your engagement on these issues that are so important to us. And on a personal note, I'm very proud that you are my senator from New Jersey, so thank you. Bill Silverman, Bill, without your vision, particularly on the technology, your vision that technology is the way forward to ensure equal access to justice, you have made it real for us and you have it now enshrined in LIFT's mission. Thank you. In addition, Susan Warren, our gala chair, thank you. You rock. You made this a total success. Without your efforts, it would not be so thank you. To our clients who generously shared their personal stories, you've made the mission of LIFT come alive with your voice. Thank you. And finally, last but not least, Kathy Kramer, my partner in crime. Kathy, your leadership, your passion, your commitment to LIFT, to these communities comes through in everything that you do, and we all benefit from knowing you and having you as part of the organization. Thank you. And with that, our commitment to you and my commitment on behalf of the board to our donors, to our amazing and incredible LIFT staff, and most importantly, to the communities that we serve. It is our commitment to you that we are working to ensure that LIFT will be here for the next 25 years. And now, please grab a virtual table. Come hang out, socialize. We'd love to have you. Most importantly, stay connected, and we'll see you next year. Thank you.
25th anniversary, Lyft!